Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well today. This is Spencer Hawks, and today I'm bringing you Jeremy.pressgrove with helping with the name of your home inspection company.
National Property Inspections.
National Property Inspections, and just like I had said in a prior video, I'm bringing you the professional, the guy on the ground who can talk to you about inspections. And how important are inspections in the home buying process, Jeremy?
I would say very, or as important as you as the buyer want them to be. It's kind of been interesting how home inspections has evolved. It's a relatively new industry. I think we start getting home inspections in the 1960s and 70s with the kind of the rise of Consumer Protection Acts and things like that. So relatively speaking, home inspections as an industry hasn't been around that long, but it's become a really vital part of the process. I saw a survey the other day that something like 90% of homes now get an inspection before they buy. And it's really about finding peace of mind for the buyer. You're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a home. You want someone to come look at it and
That's right.
kind of check various things.
So when you think, peace of mind is something that's very important whenever somebody's purchasing a home. What are some of those items that you see in a house that will give them peace of mind that, when you report about it?
Yeah, so most people are concerned with what I call kind of the big four, like with home inspections. They want to know about the foundation and the structure, which I would include like the roof in that. They want to know about the plumbing systems, the electrical systems, and then the heat and air systems. And it's kind of those big four things: the foundation and roof and the structure, the heating and air systems and cooling, then the electrical systems and the plumbing. And those are some of your major ticket items in a home. And those are also the things that, we as home buyers maybe aren't as familiar with. I'm not an electrician. I probably don't want to climb on a roof or open a panel box. I can walk around and look at a foundation, but I don't know necessarily what I'm looking at. So those are both the most expensive, and if you don't work in the industry, you're the least familiar with them. So I think those are kind of the big things that people really want us to check.
That's right. So now, whenever you go into a home and you're inspecting these items, everybody's going to get a report. Mm-hmm. And, I've been in this industry and I've seen all different types of reports. Some are easier to understand than others. So tell us about your report. What does your report look like?
Sure. So you can actually find a sample report on my website, which will be linked right here.
All right. We will make sure to link your website.
Right there. But I guess for me, the report writing is a major part of the inspection, and it's the one thing that they're going to get and hold on to. But it's only a part of how I'm going to communicate with them. We're going to have a conversation on the phone if you're kind of comfortable with that. I have some clients that just text me and they don't really want to talk, but for the most part, we're going to talk about it on the phone, and I'm going to kind of explain like, hey, this is what a home inspection is and isn't. What are you looking for in a house? Have you bought homes before? We're going to talk about those things because that'll impact like how I talk to them about, how familiar are you? If you're a real estate investor from Florida that buys 25 properties out of state every year, you need me for something different than if you're a first-time home buyer that maybe has never, looked at a house before. So some of that kind of context matters. And then I will try my best to point out, like in the email, I'll send you an email with your report. And in that email, I'll usually say, hey, it was great to meet you. Thanks for letting me help with the home buying process. Here's a couple of things that were really great about your home. It's got a new roof or a new water heater, and all those things. And then I'll point out, hey, these are a couple of items that I want you to pay attention to. Read the entire report, but be sure to pay attention to these couple of things. And I'll try to put them just right there for you, if there's a bigger item. Like I did one the other day that had a 35-year-old heat and air unit.
Wow.
It was still functioning, but it is past its average life expectancy or past its average service life. So I just said, hey, the heat and air unit was functional at the time of inspection, but it was manufactured on this day. The average, service life for them is, 15 years or whatever it is. So just kind of be aware, and we'll kind of do things like that. So in the report itself, I think my average report is around 40 pages. It comes in a PDF in full color with photos. And I really try to go heavy on the photos. And if I need to explain something in more than 2 or 3 sentences, something has gone like horribly wrong, right?
Right.
For example, the average thing that I'll find on a home inspection is that the breaker box or the panel won't be filled out. You'll open it up and it'll just all be blank. Now, in a perfect world, we would love to see every breaker labeled. So if something happens, you can walk out there and you can be like, all right, power off the kitchen. Now I can go fix whatever I want in the kitchen. Or, hey, something's happened. Let me run out there and flip the power to that part of the house, so I can fix it. But I guess in the reality is, we don't live in a perfect world, and it's not like always going to be like that.
Right.
This is one of those do as I say, because I don't think my breaker box is fully filled out on my home at home either.
Probably mine either.
Yeah, and I usually end up just flipping the main and doing whatever I want to do. But so I'll put a note, like I'll put a picture in and I'll circle like, hey, these are blank. Recommend filling out your breaker box for your convenience and I guess safety, in case you have an emergency. But we're going to go with a picture and then just a quick explanation of what's wrong or what we would like to see, how we would like to fix it, and then why is that important. So for the heat and air unit that was 35 years old the other day, I think I wrote, heat and air unit was functional at time of inspection and working within normal expected bounds. Period. However, it was manufactured in this date and the average life expectancy was this.
Right.
So, would recommend continuing to clean and service twice a year and be aware that you might have to replace it at some point in the future. That's, 3 sentences, pretty concise, like it's working now, but it's at such an age that we might need to replace it soon. So maintain and service it while you have it and, make your budgets appropriately.
Right. So what else do you see? So we've talked about the foundation, the roof, the HVAC. Mm-hmm. What are the most common items that you see come up in an inspection?
The most common? Decks.
Oh, okay.
Decks, almost all the time. Because, building a wooden deck is a project that many homeowners feel like they can take on kind of by themselves.
Right.
You can invite 3 or 4 of your friends over. You can, have a grill. You can tell them, hey, come and, help me build this deck, and we'll kind of do it together, and we'll have, our cooler and, whatever.
It'd be a fun time.
It'll be a fun time, right? So they often, particularly if they're a DIY project, don't get built up to, building code.
Right.
And they're probably not going to get inspected by a city inspector or anything like that. Many cities don't require permitting and stuff. So decks come up a lot. I'll say the challenge for me as an inspector is figuring out when is it a big deal and when is it just okay, that deck's not perfect.
Right.
And it's really art as much as it is science, right? If a deck is, 1.5 feet off the ground, maybe it's not as important as if it's 20 feet off the ground.
That's
because
right.
The safety risk is different.
That's right.
And there are things like if, for example, we say that your wooden posts should not be in contact with the soil. There should be concrete footers in place. And that's because, if soil and the wood come in contact together, it's going to deteriorate faster and it's going to have a shorter life expectancy. If someone has a brand new deck where the wood is in contact with the soil, what are you going to tell them? Well, hey, instead of lasting 20 years, if they had built this correctly, it's going to last more like 10 to 15.
Right.
If you're buying a new home today, and how long does the average person live in their home? 7 years, something like that?
Probably about 7 years.
Yeah. Does the fact that those posts are going to last 10 to 15 years instead of 15 to 20 really matter that much to you?
Right.
I don't know. That's your decision, right? But I'm just going to point it out, and I think in there it's important for me to be clear about, hey, well, this is why it's a big deal. This is the problem, and this is how it's going to impact, the life expectancy of it. Because if I just wrote, wood should never be in contact with soil, that's a deficiency. Then someone might go, oh my gosh, we got to dig the whole thing up and, start over.
You're scaring them for no...
Yeah.
For a small reason, I guess.
Or if I write, hey, the wood is in contact with soil, that is not allowed or not code because it will shorten the life expectancy of, the structure. And then say, so, it'll shorten it, by 5 years or something. Then they're like, well, okay.
So basically, it's just, to me, because I have 3 small kids, it's like parenting when your kid comes in with a small cut on his knee.
Uh-huh.
You don't freak the kid out by saying, oh my gosh, we have to go to the hospital. You just say, hey man, let's clean this up a little bit and you'll be fine.
You'll be fine, yeah. I would say it's very much like that with home section. My wife jokes that I'm so anti-drama that nothing is drama to me, like even the things I'm supposed to be worked up about. And everything in a home is fixable.
That's right.
And everything in a home can be fixed. So if the roof is 40 years old and leaking, I'm just going to say, well, that roof appears to be at the end of its service life. The shingles have deteriorated and appear to be past their normal life expectancy, and I observed 2 active leaks in the attic. We should probably get a roofer out there to look at that and see how we can repair or replace that to make it, up to scuff for you.
That's good.
There's no need to freak out about it. There's no need to get worked up and be like, oh my gosh, the roof. Like, put a new roof on it. People put new roofs on houses every day.
That's right.
Anyway.
That's a wonderful attitude to have, especially, for these folks who are buying maybe their first home.
Yeah.
It's easy to get worked up and to walk away from opportunities when you can show them, hey, you can fix these issues. Now, kind of on the other end of the spectrum, what is the craziest thing that you have ever seen in a home inspection?
Oh. So the story that immediately came to my mind, I didn't actually see anything, but he scared the heck out of me. I was just starting out, okay? I think I'd had my license for a month or 2. And I got this recommendation from a mortgage lender to go do a foundation certification on a manufactured home. To go out and just make sure that it was on a permanent foundation for the type of loan they needed. And she needed 6 or 10 pictures. So I called the guy and I was like, hey, I'm coming out to do this, blah, blah, blah. And he said, oh yeah, it's great. He goes, the home's on a foundation. It's got a permanent around it. It's got an access door. There's a vapor barrier down. He goes, it's great. I was like, perfect. This is going to be easy. He goes, the only thing is I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere and my home backs up to a pond. I said, okay. He goes, so I don't know if you carry a gun or not, but if you see a snake under there, I'd appreciate if you'd shoot it for me. And I was like,
oh, golly.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks for that. Heads up. so I called a friend and we're driving down. I'm like, so I just got this call. And the guy told me that if I run into a snake in his crawl space, I should shoot it.
Golly.
So I get out there. And there's actually nothing wrong, and there's no real danger. Everything is mowed down. It's weed-eated. There's an access panel, and when I open it up, there's a white vapor barrier everywhere, so you can see everything. And there's
You say you opened it up and you saw a snake?
No, I didn't see a snake. No snake. I could open it up and I could shine my flashlight and I could look at the whole thing. I was like, oh, there's no actual danger here. But I was worked up about it for a minute.
Oh, I bet. So
it was just funny.
So were you prepared to take care of some snakes?
I was not.
I think that, we'll wrap up the video here in just a second, but
yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys. Home inspectors, they earn their keep. I mean, you're under those. Very well could have been a snake. I think that,
I've crawled in some that were weeds and much scarier, as far as potentially running into a snake. Yeah. Snakes in electric panels, wasps in electric panels. Pretty common. So
I'm sitting here. I don't do electric. I don't touch electricity. It could be bad. And then electricity with wasp. I mean, to me, you're just like, guys, get a good home inspector. Uh-oh. And one of the reasons I brought Jeremy today is because I've had multiple times, with him. He spoke to a group. I've been with him in other settings, and he's got a wonderful personality to work with, and he is a hardworking home inspector, and so. I have no reservations with recommending Jeremy to anyone. And so, Jeremy, if there's any final thoughts or your contact information that you'd like to give verbally, but we will put it, like I said,
here
at the bottom of the YouTube page here. So, but Jeremy, if there's any final words you'd like to say, thank you.
I just appreciate it. Yeah, it's fun. It's I guess selling real estate. It's different every day, and every client is different. And I would say the goal for all of us is to help people find a home that they can live in and be happy.
That's right.
And it's real estate agents, home inspectors, mortgage lenders, insurance agents, title companies, we all play a part in that transaction, but we should all be working towards the same goal. Right. And just helping people find a home that they're happy and comfortable with and live in and that they can have a good life with. So best of luck to you on your home buying process.
Jeremy, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.